Do you think there are folks who are not suitable for spiritual work? Shouldn't try it?
I do. I think if somebody has significant mental illness, if they have significant fracture to the personality, I think those folks should start first on the therapy side and work on healing, growing, whatever the term would be, but work that material because spiritual practice, deep, rigorous spiritual practice is intended to press on the personality. And if one has a cracked vessel for a personality, the cracks are going to be enhanced. So that's why we need to be honest with ourselves. Do I have issues that will prevent? I find personally, I have a challenge working with people who are diagnosed as borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way they have some attachment issues from early life that make it difficult for them to not only attach to a teacher, but connect to the absolute. And I haven't found a way to work with them that's productive. So if folks self-identify in that way, I usually discourage their working with me and just say, I haven't been successful working with these folks. Nobody's been harmed, but I haven't been able to really enhance anybody's practice or support them enhancing their practice with how I teach and who I am. So it's just a group I can't connect with.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only teacher in the series who said that. We've asked the question of probably 9 or 10 teachers, and they've all more or less said the same thing. I was a little like iconoclastic when you asked me the question. I thought everyone has it, but I have to recognize that what you're saying is also completely true. I think when I was responding to the question, my sense was that everyone can sit quietly. If they can, they can learn to sit quietly, and that is practice too. That is, in a sense, the essence of spiritual work. But it makes it very difficult for a teacher, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining.
Yeah, I think you're right that everybody can sit quietly, and really meditation is sitting quietly and listening. We're turning with a kind of query toward the absolute, toward the mystery, toward the supreme being, and we're open. We're not telling. We're not negotiating. I'll go to church on Sunday if you give me an A in biology. We're not doing petitionary prayer. We're sitting quietly and we're listening because we know we don't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that somewhere in the mystery, all the answers are resolved.
Well said. Well said. Are there other blocks that you encounter for people? I mean, are there things that are, putting aside someone having borderline personality disorder, are there other blocks that students should become aware of that they may be carrying forward without necessarily realizing it? Resistances, things society may bring in, common things that you
Yeah,
see?
I think for all of us, a lot of our relationship to not only each other, but to the absolute is heavily conditioned by our early life. So really a lot of the dynamics of our birth family or our early caregivers imprints us not only with the world, but also we overlay onto the absolute a lot of our mommy and daddy issues. So this is why we need to be aware of that and also work with it. I do this with students when I work with them. I'll usually have them give me some life history, what the early life in particular. What was the early life like? What was your dynamic with your siblings, your parents, your caregivers like? And that we can see a lot in the template from that. And not that that's the only thing we look at, but at least for most of us, there's a lot of blueprinting, a lot of patterning that gets established in that period of time. So, and I find too that it's beneficial, it helps a lot if students can recall the time when they were connected to the absolute. And a lot of people can, not everyone, but a lot of people can remember moments of feeling the unity, the connection, the love. And so and that's what brings a lot of people to spiritual practice. I want to feel that again. And so that for a lot of us begins our journey. Either the suffering, the dukkha of the world is overwhelming, or we want to return to that safe place, that safe harbor of the absolute, where we're one, we're unified with the absolute without asserting a major personality. We're just present within our beingness with that beingness.
What would you say to a brand new student eager to start their spiritual journey?
I would certainly say follow your heart. If you feel the heart pull and you find comfort, learning, connection. The first time I sat on a meditation cushion, I felt like my grounding cord was finally activated. And I knew that I would always meditate. It was there was something happening that I didn't have any other way of experiencing. And that felt good to me, even though it was challenging.
Yeah.